So, TPL. You obviously know what TPL is, right? It's the highest prize money tournament in all of Warcraft 3. It's the successor of the NetEase tournaments, GCS and WGL. $17,600 in prize money for the grand final. Over the past 4 months, people qualified in monthly tournaments for TPL. That was September, October, November, December, with Happy winning 3 tournaments and 1-0 winning the last one. So now the top 16 players are qualified, and here they are. We got Fortitude and Sock. We got Fly, Focus, Lin, and Soin. We got 1-0 Happy Labby. We got Colorful, Kaho, Lawlight, Moon, and Remind, surprisingly. Plus Starbuck and Infi, who defeated Ice Orc and Hawk in a tiebreaker as they had the same amount of points. Cool to see Infi play Fly as well. Some participants that we don't see in all of tournaments. This is pretty much best of the best that we got in the scene. Everybody's in, and it's the highest level of competition. So what's the system, you might ask? 16 players get distributed into 4 groups of 4 people each, and it's round robin at first. So everybody plays the other. The top one qualifies for the playoffs immediately as the top seed. The second, third, and fourth players get into the so-called ascension phase, where 3 plays against 4, and then the winner plays against 2, and the winner of that match goes to the playoffs. Playoffs then will be 8 points. So this will be going on from next Monday to Sunday in 2 weeks, January 15 to January 29. It's going to be 2 weeks of awesome Warcraft. 4 games every day, starting at noon, and boom, baby. Best of 3 group stage, best of 5 playoffs. So this is what we got. Group A, Focus, Fly, Sock, and Kaho. Once again, I'm not 100% sure how the seeding works. Maybe it's down to the point system. Not 100% sure. But man, this is already... I feel like it's missing some name value. It's not the ultra duper superstars, but Focus just got into the finals of War 3 Champions and also TED Cup. Fly is for sure the underdog here. Sock, one of the 2 big hopes for the humans. Definitely one of the strongest of his race. And Kaho has been tearing people apart recently. So while there's no superstar in this group, it's very, very, very competitive. I'd say everyone except Fly could take first place. And there's also a big battle for the second place. So good race distribution as well. They'll probably be happy to not face an undead here. Only 1 mirror as well. No superstar, they're all superstars. That's a good spin on things. Yo, I am TKL. Thank you very much for the big raid. We rarely get raids. And this is super awesome, dude. We're just talking about the biggest Warcraft tournament of the year. That's coming up next Monday. From next Monday to... like for 2 weeks straight. We're just discussing the groups, so this is like just chatting. But man, TKL, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Not the most exciting content here right now, but rather just a bit of a podcast. Hope you have something to take away here as well. Later we might be dabbling into some Stormgate news that came out today, and I might play some Zero Space as well, but I'm not too sure about that. Merci beaucoup. So, yeah, I don't know who the big favorite is here. Given that there's 2 orcs, I can definitely see Sock having a good time, also Cow having a good time. But as I said, like, Focus has been tearing people apart recently. And it's super cool to not be able to predict something. Because in Warcraft, it's been relatively easy to predict results for the longest time. But not at the moment, really. So I wouldn't bet money on any of these guys to win the group. It's just way too much high up in the air. So how the schedule works is we got 4 games a day, as you can see here, 4 games a day. That's the opening day with Focus, Kaho, Fly, Sock, etc. Then these two games to decide the group will open up the second day, plus the opener of Group B after the closing of Group A. So we always have 4 games a day. That understandable? I think so. Group B then. Holy moly. Fortitude, Remind, 1-0 and so on is, I think, easier to predict, but not entirely. So Remind is definitely the underdog, but we learned that if he has a bit of time, he can always come up with the craziest of strategies and the craziest of timings. So I wouldn't rule it out that he defeats Soin, for example. And I wouldn't rule it out that he has the weirdest timing, Huntress pushes or whatever against Fortitude either. So Remind, while I think might not win a single map, you shouldn't underestimate him. For Soin, I'd love for him to go far, but I don't really see him get out of the groups. He's just not constant enough. He has some amazing micro and some cool matches here and there. And especially versus Night Elf, he is highly entertaining. But I don't think he's on the level of Fortitude and 1-0. And like, 40 is the best, by far, human versus undead player in the world. And he gets 1-0 here. Who's insane versus Night Elf, he's insane versus Orc, he is, not by far, but he's the best mirror player. But against Soin, there shouldn't be much of a problem. Against Remind, he can basically play whatever he wants, I think, and win. But his match versus Fortitude, if 1-0 continues to be as stubborn as he was in the past couple of weeks against Human, then Fortitude can win this group. Like, yeah, D-Maul says it, 41-2 best of 5s in a row against Happy. Also against 1-0. Oh, cool, I didn't know that. But yeah, 40, if he's not slipping against Remind and Soin, 40 can win this group. And 1-0, ironically, as the winner of December, goes into this as not the favorite, which is kind of cool. So I'd say 40 first, 1-0 second, Soin third, Remind fourth, but definitely room for surprises here. Group C. Oh boy. Group C is a banger group. I love Group C. I feel really bad for everyone in Group C and D. For us, it's awesome. We get amazing games right from the get-go. From day 3 it is, where they start. Starbuck, Happy, Colorful, and Labyrinth. Happy is, I think, very glad about this group. There's none of his nemesis in this group. He owns Labyrinth and Mirror. Like, while he struggles against 1-0, this match, Happy vs. Labyrinth, could be over in 12 minutes. In a best of 3. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, he's far ahead. But then Colorful, he can take games of Happy, especially since there's a little bit of Riser Demon Hunter, and Colorful indeed plays a strong Warden. Happy could struggle here. Gipan, thank you for the sub. I hope you're having a great warm winter Friday. Dude, it's so cold, man. It's so cold. Happy could struggle against Colorful. Starbuck, I really hope he comes out of this group second. He has had some amazing performances recently. Top 4 in TED Cup and top 4 in TP League back to back. Hope he can carry this performance into TPL. He would absolutely deserve it. But Colorful, coming back from a 1-month break, and he is looking scary. So, Labyrinth, while he sucks in Mirror, don't underestimate him versus Night Elf and versus whatever Starbuck plays. Orc, especially, or he shouldn't play Orc against Labyrinth, I think. Rather Human. And maybe Starbuck, the best advice for him is to go hard on human for this tournament. Don't experiment too much, but just get to that S tier level where you're scratching at the moment, and try to get second place. Like, beating Happy shouldn't be the goal here, but beating Colorful and Labyrinth should be the goal for Starbuck. What's the M? Multiple. Starbuck can play all races and is adjusting that according to the opponent and the opponent's race. So, yeah, I think Happy is the clear favorite in this group. He will beat Labyrinth and he will beat Starbuck, unfortunately. I'm very sure about that. He could stumble upon Colorful, but who's getting second? That is really rough. Like, not only do you have to be better than the other two players in the group stage, you also have to be better for them a couple of days later in the Ascension phase. And Starbuck, I think Starbuck has higher heights than Colorful and Labyrinth, but does he have the consistency of Colorful and Labyrinth? That's the question. I think at his peak, Starbuck is an S- tier player or an A+ player. I really hope he does it, man. As much as I not hate Colorful anymore, and as much as I love Labby, obviously rooting for Starbuck to make it far here. And it's the big stage. Surprise is always possible. And this is all best of 3. So in general, while we're in the Happy group, Happy is bleeding. Happy is vulnerable. Losing 2-1 to 0, losing multiple times against Fortitude recently, losing maps in almost every competition he enters. Of course, if things go according to plan, Happy wins this tournament. That's the case for all tournaments. But he lost maps against Focus in TED Cup Grand Final. He lost the last series versus Lin. And everybody will be ramping it up for TP League. How much room for improvement is there for Happy at the moment? Will the others catch up, or will he find a new height and destroy everyone again? That's the question. We'll see. Group D, man. Group D is so sick. Group D has the 3 most decorated player in the history of this game, I think. Actually, I have to look it up if Infi is still third. Is Infi still third? Come on. Yeah. Moonlin, Infi. All in a group. Yeah, okay, this will probably never ever change again. I just wasn't sure if someone surpassed him. Happy, by the way, on the way to the top 5. If Happy wins TP League, he surpasses Fly as top 5. So yeah. This group is so sick. Like, Infi, he qualified. He can, just like Starbuck, play all the races. It would be so insane if he just plays human, but I don't think we can hope for that. It will be Undead Night Elf again, I think. If he plays his multiple race shenanigans, I think Infi is the clear underdog in this group. If he plays human, sky's the limit. But that's totally unpredictable. Lin, Lawlight, Moon. This is so hard to predict. Lin is back, but he has 2, maybe 3 Night Elves in his group. He just became a daddy again. How much time does he really have to get in shape for this? He needs to be in tip-top shape. Lawlight had like a 40-degree fever last week, still made it to the semifinals and almost beat Happy. Almost beat Happy. And Moon, dude, if Moon is in shape, he's scary, but I've seen some weak performances of his recently. So also this is super hard to predict. Can't pick a favorite. Yeah, I love these groups. While I think From a star power level, C and D are ahead of A and B. From the level of play, B is probably going to be the weakest, but it's nonetheless going to be super entertaining games. And in a tournament like this that goes on for 2 weeks, who can be consistent across 2 weeks? We'll see about that. So once again, the winner of the group advances. Rank 4 plays against rank 3, and then the group stage second is in the Ascension final. The groups will not cross. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 from group A, 2, 3, 4 from group B, 2, 3, 4 from group C, etc. And then we go into the classic TP League double elim playoffs with best of 5 across the board. And man, it's so sick. It's going to be so sick. Group B with 40 and 1-0, definitely not the weakest. But I think Soen and Remind are weaker than, for example, Fly and Kaho. They are also weaker than a Labyrinth, Colorful Starbuck, and I also think they're weaker than Infimoon Lawlion. So while they have the level at the top, they lack the level at the bottom. That's my point. So yeah. Hype or what? 2 weeks every day? Twitch.tv/back to Warcraft?